Hello there, everybody. Welcome to the Nintendo Rewind. My name is Cody Christian. I'm joined by my co-host, Josh Taylor. We are rewinding and recapping last week for Nintendo, covering all the greatest news, announcements, and reviews. Also, plus another week ago, because we had a week off. My apologies to everybody. Weather was insane. Internet was bad. I had no phone service the day that we were supposed to do the show. So, that being said, before we do dive in, I normally ask Josh what happened with him last week, but today I'm going to say, hey, thank you, Mrs. Nerdwire, in the chat, gifting a sub to Nerdui, Stupid Cow 007, Pepal JZ, Korga, and GoFi-OLZ for those 5 subs, and of course, Mrs. Nerdwire and myself for subbing to the channel. One day, Josh will sub to the place he works at. But that being said, I love your faces. Josh, how are you doing, my good sir? How was this last 2 weeks for you? We haven't even really gotten to talk much because life's been so busy.
2 weeks, there's a lot that happens to me in 2 weeks.
Fair.
You know, ups and downs. The storm was crazy for everybody. Thankfully my house wasn't infected.
That's true.
It wasn't affected at all, pretty much. We had power, which we usually don't lose it here for whatever reason. Everybody around us can, but we don't. It usually holds up pretty well. We didn't lose internet or anything like that. So here is in pretty good shape. Now, like one of my jobs, they pretty much shoved us all into a vault because we were getting like tornado warnings or whatever, and there was a big alarm going off outside and all that. So it was pretty crazy. But we obviously made it through. But that sounded maybe a little dark, but I was going to say more importantly. No, I had my book release, the official release this past Saturday, April the 6th. And it went really well. It was mostly to a room full of kids, but that was kind of exactly what it needed to be. I really enjoyed myself. It seemed like they really enjoyed it. I got to read a bunch of it. Got to sell a few more copies, sign some stuff, and got to see the kids color pictures of the characters and things like that. And that was really cool. I really loved it. Really enjoyed my time there.
That's awesome, man. I'm so proud of you. That's awesome.
Yeah, I want it to do well just for the simple fact that I want to do more. Mm-hmm. I like to see those kids and everybody enjoy it. I do. Emperor Gambasa mentioned it here as well. I mentioned the eclipse, and yes, I saw it at least. I got to sneak out of the office long enough to put on those little glasses I got from the library and look up at it. So it was pretty cool.
Were you in Path of Totality? I don't think you were, because we weren't either, and you're pretty close to me. No, not quite on Path of Totality.
Yeah, not quite. It was 90-some%, but
I think between 97 and 99. I think we didn't get the cool ring. I saw some of your previous co-hosts on your last podcast, Nintendo Nostalgia. Shout out to them real quick, but they were posting. They were in Indiana, and we
almost went there to see it.
They were well into the Path of Totality, and some of their pictures of that was just really crazy looking. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah. So, what have you been up to? Anything good on your end, or?
Oh man, yeah. So a mix of a lot. Like my wife's been really, really busy. She's in the middle of her busiest season right now, which is sports kicking up. So like, I've been helping her a lot, not really doing a whole lot of streaming on my own channel this week. I was like, okay, well, priority is podcast, and then I've got something cool coming up on Friday. I'll talk about it at the end of the show. Plug it, but no, like we missed last week's episode because my internet went down on Monday night when I was about to go down and stream. And that was not due to storms or anything. Like it just randomly decided, hey, the internet's not going to work. So I had to get a specialist to come down and fix that. And then they came the next day to be able to do that. And then after that, the specialist came the next day, but I woke up the next morning. It was pretty early in the day, but we lost our phone service too. And then the storms were going crazy, and everything else was just going insane. It was crazy enough that because nobody could get in touch with myself or my wife, her sister showed up at our door, knocking on the door, going, "Are you guys okay?" And we were like, "Yeah, we just have no way to communicate. It's fine. We're having a Amish day." So but it was
be a good thing sometimes.
It was kind of nice, like fully unplugging and not having any responsibilities for the internet. Like I didn't have to respond to anybody. I couldn't. But there were times I noticed I kept finding myself picking up my phone and opening it and going to look at something and going, "Oh wait, I can't." So putting it back down in disappointment. I didn't even get to play that many games over the last little bit. So like it's just been kind of like, I don't know. It's been very busy, very hectic, and just gonna continue being insane right now. My wife and I, we both need a nap. We both need a nap at this point, just because this is crazy. But I don't know. That's pretty much it. I have nothing cool going on right now. Like it's just been busy, back to back to back to back things, and I don't even have time to think for myself at this point. So I don't know. But that's it for me, and that's it for you. And we got a lot to cover today because we missed last week and we're trying to catch everybody up on everything that we missed last week. So do we want to get into the MyNintendo rewards news right after this?
Let's go on and get to it.
Cool. All right, Joshua, take it away, my good sir.
So we are going to start here. There is actually quite a few Princess Peach Showtime related rewards here. First one's a wallpaper up for 50 platinum points. It's this nice one, nice little one here of her, and I can barely see it. I need my glasses. I thought it was her and Stella. It looks like it's just Peach, but it has a bunch of her transformations on it. And there's one for your computer and one for mobile. Now the next one is another Princess Peach related reward. It is the Princess Peach Showtime Transformation Door Hanger Set, as you can see there. Yeah, I mean, there's like, I forget how many there is. I can't count from here.
I think it's 11 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 11 of them.
I have 100% in this game, and I forget.
Which I thought there were only 10 transformations, not 11 transformations, but there are 11 transformations here.
Yeah. There's, I won't say too much for spoilers' sake, but yeah. So that's all there, and those are 80 points. Or no, I'm sorry, those are 50 points. The next one here is another printable. It is a Princess Peach Showtime movie poster set. A set of 11 of them, as you can see right there. These are pretty cool. I wish they had like the posters. If you've played the game, they have the ones of little like Theat characters, like that are like actual movie posters. Mm-hmm. Those are pretty neat. But these are cool too. Those are nice. The next one is a printable Princess Peach Showtime stationery set for 50 platinum points.
Did I miss something? I think I did not open something. Hang on one moment. Yes, I did not open something. Hang on. We're going to put this on to here. You guys can see it this way. At least my apologies.
Actually printed out some of these for my daughter. She's been writing on them, but yeah. So there's the stationery set for that. There are 50 platinum points. I believe there is a set of 4 of them.
Yeah, it looks to be.
Me squint because I have my screen too small.
It looks to be 4. You got Princess Peach and Stella on like in front of the theater on the water. In one, you've got Princess Peach with her like ribbon sparkle ability on blue stationery, and then you've got just kind of like a set of quote unquote posters up at the top of one of them, and then another one that honestly I like the way it looks a little bit better, and some envelopes and some little postcardy things. They're cute. Let me ask you, do you ever actually get hardly any of these printables? Like, the only reason I don't is because, A, I don't want to waste the ink on these printables. So, like, I rarely, if ever, buy any of these things with my Nintendo Platinum points. But, like, I don't know. It's just, sometimes they're a little bit pricey for me having to also print them afterwards.
Well, with these, I don't own a printer, so I have to find creative ways to have someone print them for me or pay, like, at a library or something. I do sometimes, like with these. I knew my daughter would like the little stationaries because she likes to write stuff on those. Thought about getting the door hangers and stuff, but we haven't. But every once in a while we do, or I'll print some of them out if it's something fun, mostly for her. It's a neat little concept. It doesn't cost any shipping, so that's neat. I did send someone a letter on the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom stationery once, so I made use of it. I feel like I sent something in one of the Smash Brothers envelopes. Maybe not. I think I just thought about it. But no, they're kind of neat. What is the next one? Because I changed stuff to help you
Yeah,
find that.
I
and then
messed it
lost
up.
my spot.
Next one.
There we go.
Yeah, you got it.
The
You
next
got
one
it.
is an April calendar, which we are a little ways in. That's all right. April calendar wallpaper for Pikmin 4. It is 0 platinum points. More Pikmin is always a good thing. I'd like an actual calendar like, printed out on my wall.
Right. Just give
Pikmin
me
for this.
give me the Pikmin of the year calendar. Like, you know how you get like the firemen and that are posing for the special saucy photos for these calendars. Like, give me Pikmin. They don't have to be posing
Give away
saucy.
our idea to raise money.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, men of Nintendo, here we come. We're putting out that calendar as a fundraiser for prostate cancer. I'm kidding. But, you know, if you guys want it bad enough, we could.
Could have been worse. All right, next. That would all be Cody.
It's only me for 11 months, and the special stinger is Josh, but he's not saucy enough, so.
You gotta pay extra. Next up is April to May calendar wallpaper. Endless Ocean, Luminous, 50 platinum points. I don't know why I kind of laugh when I see this. They're pushing this one hard, but that's cool. There it is. It's kind of pretty.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's dolphins, you know, Endless Ocean,
Yeah,
Luminous.
it's like Echo.
Yeah, like, I think that game, look, and we're going to talk about this game a little bit later in the show, but like, I think this game, it looks really cool. It's just on the wrong console at the wrong time in the lifespan of Nintendo Switch. Like, I think, wait one more console cycle and then release it. So it looks the prettiest.
I think this game, I think there's a place for it. I do. I don't know if it really belongs like at the end of a direct, you know, and like at the end of a console's lifespan. I think it needs to look pretty. It needs to look as good as it can. But I don't know, this is kind of a little rant, but it could be neat.
Emperor Gombessa in the live chat, Endless Ocean can't wait. Of course we know you can't wait. You're named after the Coelacanth. Oh man. But I'm with you. Like, the game looks cool. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about it later on in the show, but it's one of those that, like, I'm just like Josh said, like, I don't know if that's a headliner style title, you know? So
but yeah, there you go. There is no sweepstakes. There is there was kind of a physical award, if you don't mind me squeezing this in here.
What was it?
I had it in the document.
I missed it.
It was actually for last week, I believe. Unless we did it the week before and I'm forgetting.
I think we did it the week before, didn't we? If it's what you're about to mention.
Maybe. There's a set of Princess Peach Showtime like folders.
We did that the week before.
Maybe we
last.
covered that. Okay.
Yeah.
And everything mixed up.
But they're there, and if people want them,
they're there. They're still there.
600 platinum points.
We got them for her. They're kind of thin, but they're neat. They're pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. So other than that, though, there is no new physical rewards. I did notice they have restocked a couple random ones, maybe. So it might be worth going on there and just seeing what's on there. Yeah. The next one's up is the NSO icons, and there is some kind of neat ones here, especially since we missed last week. There is the Princess Peach Showtime Icons Wave 3, which Wave 2 was available last week. We were not here last week, so sorry about that. These are available until April the 11th, which is Thursday. I always look down at the date when I say that, and it never changes. Anyway.
That's always Thursday. Get it in before, and I think it's like Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I think, when they swap over. It might be a little bit later. It might be 4 p.m. Pacific time, but like 4 p.m. is kind of your cutoff on Thursdays for the latest icons most of the time.
Yeah, and then the next one is some more play and redeem ones. These ones are really nice. These are for Yoshi's Island. They're available until May the 6th. There's only, let's see, 5 of them, but I really like when they bring back this old artwork. Right now, I'm actually using the Yoshi and Baby Mario one. So
you can go with Snot-Nosed Baby Bowser.
You can if you'd like, sure.
No,
I mean, Poochie's on there, so that's...
Poochie, that's fair. Poochie is the goodest of boys.
You got Poochie and more Yoshis and stuff. I don't really need the Baby Bowser's kind of on the bottom of my list.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, real talk here. Before we move on to the next one. Okay, Poochie or Polterpup, who's the bestest boy between the two?
I've had this conversation before. Maybe it was on the other show. There's like Poochie, Polterpup. There's Ochi back here.
Oh, I forgot about it. Yeah, but that's not a Mario dog. That's not a Mario dog.
No, it's not. There's
Mario
another one too, and I can't remember who I'm trying to think of. Anyway, ultimately, I think it's probably still going to land on Poochie. It's close, but Poochie has nostalgia points like over the rest of them for me, where he's like from the SNES days. That's probably what shoves him over the edge just a little bit.
Nettest in live chat, Ochi was a mistake. He does look like a mistake. He looks like one though. Look,
he looked like a mistake.
Wins World's Ugliest Dog Award. Now, look, okay, I'm going to agree with you on the sense that that Poochie does seem to just follow you wherever you go, and Polterpup kind of gets into a little bit of mischief. But listen, I've got to argue for Polterpup because Polterpup is one of those dogs that did not get to go to heaven. He's stuck on the eternal plane. Like, he doesn't get to move on. He can't be the good as the boys, apparently, because he didn't get to go to heaven. Luigi. Right. Yeah. So, like, but I'm going to argue in favor of him because we do love ourselves some Polterpup.
Yes, even if he is dead.
All right, moving on.
Anyway, so those are really cool. I hope they do more of those. They need to put backgrounds for these old games, though. Quit making me just use plain colors. The next ones is more play and redeem ones. They seem to be going back and rehashing a lot of the Mario ones right now. So there was the Wonder ones. There is some 3D World ones up right now. I believe Mario Kart. Yeah, Mario Kart. They are available until April the 15th. Oh, and Odyssey. So there's a lot of Mario ones that they have brought back to play and redeem. You got to play the game. It might only be once for those. I don't know if you have that in front of you.
I actually
within 30 days.
It doesn't have the rules on the
some of them are
NSO
3 times, and then some you just got to turn it on for once or whatever, and then it's good to go. But yeah, those are more play and redeem you can get. The Yoshi's Island ones are actually new. But yeah, and they're cool anyway, so you should get those. And the game's great, so just go play Yoshi's Island. So outside of that, there is actually a game trial. Or a demo, actually, worth checking out. It is for Saga Emerald Beyond. It is available now. Now, Cody might know a little more about that one than I do. I knew it was up.
It's part of the hit JRPG series Saga. So, like, if you're familiar with it, like you're not, but you should go check it out. Demo is available. I think the demo for PC hit already, and this was like last week news. We didn't get to talk about it last week, but I will say, like, if you like Saga, if you're familiar with Saga, and I'm not going to sit here and try to sell you on it because it's another JRPG to like add to your list of backlog JRPGs that you've never played, go check out Saga Emerald Beyond. It's free to do the demo. And I think I might be wrong, but I think what you accomplish in that game will carry over to the full release as well. So demo available. Go check it out. Nintendo Switch. .com, not .com. Nintendo Switch shop.
Insiders only.
Yeah.
Any other insiders here, by the way? Like represent. I was Sonic 727.
Insiders.
We need to talk about that someday, and like Camp Hyrule and all that. We need to find a reason to go over all that. Anywho, in-game events is next.
It's up. Facing a mighty Meganium.
Oh,
shoot, my God. Yeah, you're right. I can't read my own script that I wrote. That's my fault. So
in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet this week, you can face a mighty Meganium. I like that. Let's go with Meganium. It is April the 11th through the 14th, as you can see up there on the screen there. See, I know this Pokemon. I don't usually say their names out loud, though. So then I realized how terrible I am at pronouncing them. But yeah, he looks pretty cool. He's got a big plant thing going around his neck. And he is there until the 14th. Well, Thursday until whenever the 14th would be. Now, we also have, for Splatoon 3, the next Splatfest, which it feels like we just had the guitar one there recently. But this one is for baby chicks, little bunnies, or bear cubs, and it is April the 19th to the 21st. I am going to go ahead and, as to no surprise, going to go with bear cubs. I could have went with little bunnies because of rabbits, so I was really close. But Banjo kind of, it kind of weighed out. Sorry, chicks, but yeah, this one I'm going with bear cubs. Yeah.
Dude, your tweet's right here too, over on the sidebar. Bear cubs in honor of Banjo and my main character in my book, Kana. So you getting that plug?
I see my book. I was like, I see my book. It's over there. It's over that way.
Oh
way on the other
man,
side of the screen.
dude, can we just talk about how like they gave two of the three animals like really cutesy little names, like baby chickens,
bunnies.
will bunnies, and then just bear cubs, like just cubs, like they could have done little Teddy, like they could have like went all in on it, but
it's a conspiracy. They don't want them to win.
It is. They don't. I mean, honestly, like when you look at that, like if you're gonna choose any animal to be your pet, you're going to choose little bunnies most of the time. Like a bear is going to grow up to maul your face.
Have you seen Monty Python?
Oh, that's true.
The Holy Grail.
That's true.
Like that's kind of what that bunny looks like to me.
That's true. you have a point. I had rabbits growing up though. I had 2 rabbits, and they have claws, and I didn't know this. I got them for Easter one year. From my parents, and I'm really glad that like nowadays that they don't like that there's a lot of pet shops that don't sell them leading up to Easter. They will sell vouchers. If you decide that you want to go buy a rabbit, because like a lot of times those end up dying. Now mine did not, because I took very good care of them. We built a little rabbit hutch for them and everything, but like they grew up, and I would go out and take them out of the hutch to like clean the hutch and everything out. And when I would take them out, they have these sharp claws on their back heels and very strong feet, and just kicked me and scratched me to pieces. Like I was so done with those pets, and I don't even remember what happened to them. I think my dad took them to the same. Have I told the story? I'm not going to tell it now. I'll tell it later. But have I told the story about when I took my ducks to the exotic pet farm that my dad had a friend who owned? I haven't. I'll tell that later. But like, I think he ended up taking the bunnies to the exotic pet farm. So like, it's fine. It's fine. That's a tease for later when they
went to live on a farm.
They truly did, though. They truly did. You're not wrong in this. Okay, fine. We'll just break it down. So I got these ducks also for Easter one year. And so I was taking care of them. They had a little cagey like thingamajig that they lived in, and then I transferred them outside to a dog kennel, because when they were growing up, I didn't want them to like get hurt or get eaten or anything. And then I transferred them to a dog kennel, and then they outgrew the kennel, and I felt really bad for them, and I was like, let's take them to your friend's farm. So we go to take the ducks to my dad's friend's farm. And we go up there to release them, right? So we go up there to release them up at the pond that he has up there. And he failed to tell us that he had an alligator that was on this farm. And the ducks go up, and they fly up, and then they land gracefully on the pond, and immediately gone. Let's talk about trauma, childhood trauma. There it is. Enjoy. That's what I grew up with.
Sounds like a TV show I watched or something.
The rabbits, though, that didn't happen. I don't remember what happened to them, but that was a core memory that got unlocked with the ducks. So bear cubs it is.
All right.
It was a long story.
Oh boy.
Oh man. Well, listen, I think that's it for events though. So we're going bear cubs, right? Are we going bear cubs?
That's what I'm saying. You can do what you want. That's what I'm, because of Kana, as you can see in my book. Remember that way. And Banjo, I kind of have to pick the bear.
Absolutely. I do want to welcome in Calamity Nolan, who did a raid into our live stream of this episode. Thank you so much for hanging with us. I know that he was wrapping up Princess Peach Showtime. Feel free to let us know your thoughts if you did finish it, Nolan, in the live chat.
I just completed it today. I kind of want to know what you think.
Very cool. Well, listen, we're going to go into the main topic today, which is ranking every Nintendo Switch online GBA game. So we'll catch you right after this jump. Josh, listen, you and me, we're gigantic Game Boy fanatics, right? I mean, if I go down here, beside of me, I count 15 Game Boys that I have laying in a Pelican case that's beside me. My box of treasures.
Pelican case.
And you absolutely are also a Game Boy maniac. I know you're big into your Game Boy camera, and there's a lot of nostalgia there that's also there too, for you. And what I can tell you is that I will say that I think the Game Boy Advance online catalog is lacking in some areas. It's lacking in some areas. We're missing games like Metroid Zero Mission.
Yeah, and that one's a good one.
We're missing games like Mario Golf Advanced Tour. We're missing games like all of the Pokemon. Like, I don't understand where any of this stuff is. But there are some bangers, and there's some stuff that, like, we see that and we go, you know, I think all of us can agree with that, right? Like, you're on my side, right? But we have 15 titles. Let me hold up this 5 and this 5, and then I guess I need to bring in another 5. Oh, there we go. We got it. 15 titles. Thank you.
Keep making the cameras that way.
Yeah, it's close enough. It's close enough. Stage left, my friend. But we have 15 titles that we can rank. And of these 15 titles, I have played all of them, at least a little bit. Maybe not all of them to completion. I can attest to not all of them to completion. But there are some stinkers on the list, and there are some that I would say are very, very much must plays. So we're going to jump into ranking the 15 titles that are available on Nintendo Switch Online for the Game Boy Advance. So let me jump over to here, and that way everybody can see my screen and see what we're looking at. So right now we've got the tier list, and we've got it set up for S, A, B, C, and and I kind of
my report card in high school down there at the bottom.
Oh man, but there are some titles on here that I think are going to land in for both of us. But at the same time, I think we're going to kind of debate on whether or not a title belongs in S, and we can't give these all S, even though there are games on here that are deserving of it. We've got to be very clear that these are not all going in S. Okay, so we're gonna start with the latest release that came out on Nintendo Switch Online for the GBA, and that is F-Zero Maximum Velocity. Now, I will tell you, this is one I have not touched, and I haven't even touched it since it launched on the NSO app. I was a big fan of the Super Nintendo F-Zero, and I love the GameCube F-Zero, F-Zero GX.
Oh yeah, that's the best.
That one is my all-time favorite F-Zero game.
Love it.
But F-Zero Maximum Velocity was one of those that I just didn't really do anything with, and I never really played it. So I'm actually going to allow you to make the inaugural call on where you think F-Zero Maximum Velocity belongs, and why does it belong there?
This is a little tricky. I've played every F-Zero. I've played some of them a lot, especially GX and X and even F-Zero 99. This one's probably one of the ones I've played the least amount of. Possibly even less than what was it, GP Legend that came out here. I played it on the Wii U. I didn't even own a cart for it, but this one's probably almost at the bottom of the list for those games for me, though. Either this one or the SNES original one, just because there's not much to do in the original. There's not even multiplayer, you know, and there's nothing to unlock. If anything, this one maybe comes above it in that list for me, just for the simple fact there is things to unlock. It keeps track of the fact that you finish things. You can do multiplayer if you have a cord, but this isn't about it. Just F-Zero. Overall, I'm gonna probably put this in B somewhere.
B, so middle of the road. I think that's a good choice. I've seen gameplay from it, and yeah, like it looks okay. It's not gonna blow you away, I don't think. And if you're a fan of the F-Zero series as a whole, and you played the SNES version of it, like it seems pretty translatable. But I will say there are some people possibly in chat that are going to be disagreeing with you on this one, and we can reconsider. But I'm gonna let you do this placement here, and then we'll reevaluate at the end of the tier list. Not that it's going to take us that long to get through these 15 games. Here's what I'm gonna say.
I would say B or C.
Oh, you're already reconsidering. Hang on. Let's leave it in B.
It's tricky.
Let's let it cook. We're going to let it cook. We're going to go into the next game. And this is Fire Emblem. Now, I don't think, I can assure you, I don't believe in any way. I'm actually Josh Atheist in the sense that I don't believe that you would like this game at all.
Which one?
Fire Emblem.
I was reading. Okay, no. Nope, you're wrong.
I'm wrong? Well, now I need to be Josh Agnostic instead of Josh Atheist. But okay, so Fire Emblem. This is probably the first Fire Emblem that we got in North America. I would say, because we did not get this. We did not get the Nintendo one. We got Path of Radiance, I believe, after this one. We got
Sacred Stones in there somewhere.
Sacred Stones is the sequel to this one as well, I believe. Sacred Stones is the sequel to this one, or at least the follow-up to this title. But this Fire Emblem, being the inaugural Fire Emblem for North American audiences, I genuinely love this one. I like this one, but it is traditional Fire Emblem in every sense. The storyline is very much, it opens up with you're playing as a girl who is going about her way, and it's got some very tutorialized experiences on there. If I'm thinking of the correct one, please tell me if I'm thinking of the correct one.
You start with Erica.
Yes, and you end up getting hit on by these two dudes in the first city as you're going on about your business, and you end up getting tied up into this whole royal dispute. What you find out is that you yourself are royalty, and you've been out and about. Now, Fire Emblem. Here's where I will argue where I think it lands, because it is Fire Emblem in the truest sense of the word. Okay, I think I will put this one, personally, because if I have to think about it against the rest of these games, there's a very strong part of me that does want to put this one in B. No higher than B, because I don't think it is any better than a B. And in some cases, I would say C. But how do you feel about this Fire Emblem?
I wouldn't put it at C. I think that's way too low for it, personally. I think I'm jumping ahead of it a little bit. I think it should be ahead of Fire Emblem in B. Ahead of F-Zero in B.
Okay.
I think it's pretty good. Like you said, it's traditional Fire Emblem, and the story's fairly decent. It's nothing insane. Maybe for me, it was a little, I don't want to say bland, but there wasn't a whole lot else going on with it after playing, because I sort of started that series because it's not usually my kind of thing, but I started it with Awakening, and played a lot of that and played a lot of Fates. The only two I really put a ton of time into, maybe some of Echoes, but I kind of went back and played this afterwards, and it is good. I don't know if there's really a whole lot else to say about it, though. It's traditional. It's Fire Emblem. There's not a whole lot of extra to it. I'm not like a huge fan of all the. I don't need all their relationship stuff added necessarily. It's kind of is what it is.
I want to romance my waifus, dude. Like, I desperately, I will say, and Fire Emblem fans, don't come after me. Don't at me in the chat. Like, it's fine. My first Fire Emblem game that I ever played, honestly, was Birthright and Conquest. I played both of those back to back on the 3DS. I really loved those. Rinka, she is my all-time waifu. She's a big, strong woman who don't need no man, and she still chose me. Like,
what's the last story? What's that one called? I can't remember. I got the special edition.
The last one, Engage, the most recent one.
No, the one of Fates. There's there's a Birthright, Conquest, and then there's the third part.
I can't even remember what the third part was called either. I have
it wraps it up real nice.
It does.
Anyway.
But I really love the relationship building aspect of those games, and it wasn't present enough in this Fire Emblem to make me care enough about the character. And that's part of it for me. Why I like the relationship building is because it helps me care more about the characters, because I actually feel like I'm role playing and I'm actually paying attention to the developments that are going on between them in a tactics game. It's very different than your typical turn-based JRPG fare where you're selecting an attack and you're doing random encounter battles, blah, blah, blah. It is a very different experience, but it just didn't have that hook for me the way that something like Three Houses did, for instance, which I genuinely love. Three Houses. I did the DLC for that. I did Three Houses. I didn't care a whole lot for Engage, actually. I played that once on stream, and then I played more
I haven't played that
on my own. It's okay. And those are the more recent ones. But Um, but I would say Fire Emblem, good B. Like, it's not going to wow me. It's not going to blow me away. And it's a good entry to dip your foot into the genre. But it's not a great game when you're comparing it against the rest of this library.
I'll leave it there for now.
Yeah, I'm with you. Now, we've got 2 Golden Sun games coming up, and I feel like they have to be kind of paired together. So wherever they land for us, now, I know this is one, when I was asking you about it, I think you said you haven't completed the first Golden Sun, right?
Yeah, okay. So the second Golden Sun game on here, to be fair, is the one game on this whole list I've never played because I've been determined to try to get through the first one. And I've started it twice and kind of gotten lost. And I honestly had no idea where to go. Just started wandering the world, no clue where to go next, and it's happened twice to me now, and I get stuck. It seems like a great game, but I want to let you go a little more on those because I know you played them both.
Okay, so I will tell you that the reason I think both of these need to be together is because they are a complete package. One of the very, very cool things about Golden Sun when you complete it is at the end you get like this 50 character long like code that you can put into the second game that carries over your stats, your gen. It unlocks some characters that you otherwise would not have available to you in the second game if you had not completed the first game. And it is the Lost Age, Golden Sun: The Lost Age, which is the sequel to Golden Sun, is a standalone experience. You can play that on its own. I don't know why you would, but you can. But it benefits very heavily from the very first Golden Sun. Now, what I will tell you, for me personally, this is probably one of the most engaging JRPG experiences I ever had, at least early day JRPG experiences. It has a little bit of that Pokemon-esque experience where you're going around, you're catching gen. It has a very lovable cast of characters. It's from our friends at Camelot. If you are a fan of Camelot and you like what they did with the JRPG-esque experiences and the Mario sports titles that they developed, it is that times 10. But party makeup and being able to kind of shift your character classes around based on the gens, which grant you your powers in the game, really kind of define the level of min-maxing that you can do in Golden Sun, carrying it all the way through. I don't want to spoil a whole lot of the game as far as that goes. But you're going around trying to take down lighthouses. It is your typical JRPG fanfare. Some magic entity is trying to take over the world and domination, blah, blah, blah. That is the only thing that I would say is typical within this JRPG experience with the rest of it. It is a defining JRPG for me. And it is one that I will say anybody should play it 100%. Anybody should play this one because it just has a good enough amount of variety and explains itself in a way that I don't think from a concept and gameplay experience, I don't think anybody would not understand it. And oftentimes when I play JRPGs, there's a lot of systems in there that I don't really get whenever I jump into those. This one explains itself very well and tutorializes the gameplay in a way that it doesn't feel like I'm doing a tutorial when I'm doing it. So my argument for Golden Sun is that this pair have to go in S, and that's where I land with it. I think these are S level games.
It seems fair to me. From what I played, I played a decent bit of the first one, like I said, and I agree with basically everything you said there. It does what it needs to, and then some. For me, I'm gonna say the issues I've had with it are probably more on me in getting games and just not having the patience to sit down and figure out where I need to go next. In a lot of cases, with a lot of games like this, with random encounters, I tend to get kind of frustrated where I'm just like trying to look around, but then I keep getting stopped. It's like, all right, I don't know where I'm supposed to go next. So I'd really love to get back into that and then, get through the second one and everything. Maybe one of these days I can shoot you a picture of where I'm stuck at and be like, please just send me in the right direction.
You're 100%.
I'll keep playing. So I'm thinking maybe that's a little more on me. I think if you really take the time out for it, from what I have played of the game, it is really good. The little towns, the story that's there, the characters, it's solid. And like he said, other JRPGs I have tried, especially a couple newish or ones, I guess, tend to throw in a lot of things that I'm not a big fan of. Or just like maybe I can just ignore that and still enjoy the game. But this, I don't feel like there ever has been a moment like that. It's really good. So I'm fine with it being an S. I definitely wouldn't put it anywhere lower than an A. So that is cool with me.
Adding stuff into a game that doesn't need to be there and forces you to play it. Shout out to Queen's Blood, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in the latest remake. 1000% all eyes on you. I'm with you. I don't like all the extra stuff. Just let me play my game. Let me do the adventure. Tell me the story. And then if I decide to go back to it, just don't make it mandatory. I'm with you. Then we're going into Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. How do you feel?
Okay. No,
Did you say
I like
A?
a lot of Kirby games. I said okay.
Oh.
I didn't say A. This one, I feel like I've never got to try real properly. I've played it on my 3DS. I've played it on the Switch. But it's always just been with like 3 other computers. And it's interesting. I feel like I'm missing out on the real experience though. And from what I've heard, like it's best to play when you have actual people to play with, that are exploring, because you're going around without fully explaining it. You're going in this huge map and there are 4 Kirby's total that are doing their own thing. And if there's not a player there, it's just computers running around. You don't really know what's going on. You're not really in communication or anything. But I feel like I'm really missing out on a decent part of that experience. With that, I feel like it would be higher than maybe what I'm thinking. Otherwise, I'd almost put it on like C, just if you're like alone trying to figure it out, because it's just, it's not very. What's the word for it? I can't think of what I'm trying to come up with. Intuitive? No.
Intuitive. I mean, I'm
maybe.
with you because you've got a lot of the way that they kind of try to work around that problem of not having multiplayer is the phone call situation that you can do in there. So you can like press your right trigger to be able to like call your buddies closer together. If I'm evaluating Kirby and the Amazing Mirror on its own, like I'm almost with you if I'm playing single player, but I want to look at it as a whole package because of what it actually offers. Sure. And here's the thing. I think Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, if you're playing multiplayer, is an amazing game. It's probably got some of the best level design in the Kirby franchise as far as the 2D platformers go. And that says something for me, I think, in a lot of ways. But also, if I evaluate it against any of its other brethren in its own franchise, it's one of those games where Kirby Star Allies, for instance, is a very similar experience in terms of gameplay because you've got the 4 other computer controlled characters that you can do. I'm not the biggest fan of Star Allies. I like Kirby and the Amazing Mirror better because I think it circumvents a lot of that if you're not playing multiplayer. Having the phone call feature that is available in there to kind of call everyone together and get them to kind of do the thing that you need them to do is a much better experience than trying to force the allies and Star Allies to do the thing that you need them to do. But I'm with you. I think
I'd like to find somebody to play it with. I feel like I'd get a better roll on it. I agree with Nettis too that Squeak Squad was better, but
yeah,
I think that was the DS.
That's fair.
Anyway,
that's fair. But I think if we have to evaluate it against the rest of the litany of games that are here, I think C is the best place to be for Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Like, it is not one of those games that you have to go out there and boot up and play your Nintendo Switch online. Like, it's not going to sell Nintendo Switch
Kirby
online.
Game that low, but yeah.
It's not going to sell Nintendo Switch online, but I'm with you. I think C is probably the best place for it. All right. So this brings us to, and I've got a friend of the channel here, Virtual Cat in the live chat. Okay, Kuru, and why it is S.
Why it is S? Okay.
Already saying. So, here's the thing. Kururin was released in Japan only. It was a Japan only game, and we did not get a American release for it until it hit the Nintendo Switch Online. And I say Japan only. I think it may have went to Europe. And in the live chat, immediate correction from Virtual Cat, and Europe under a different name, but the release that we have in North America is the Japanese release. The game is cute. It features a little penguin, little looking boy who's climbing on this spinning bar, and he has to make it through these levels to be able to reach the end. He cannot slam his spacecraft that he's going to try to find his brothers in that is constantly spinning. He cannot slam it into the walls. He has to use springs. He has to use wider areas. And you have to use your mind a little bit on your pathing and where you're going to go. And a lot of the game is really trial and error. I will tell you, my first time playing it was actually on stream before it came to Nintendo Switch Online. It got recommended to me from Virtua Cat, and he pointed me in the direction to be able to play it. And then I ended up trying it out. And the thing that hit me about it that really got me super into it was the fact that it was so addictive, in the sense that, like, I was like, okay, well, I didn't do it like that. One more time. Well, I didn't do it like that. One more time. Oh, I didn't beat this top time you need to beat. One more time. And I got so addicted to that loop of, can I do it faster on each level? Can I improve it? But I don't think that's going to be every audience person, right? I don't think that's going to be every audience person. I think that game specifically could frustrate a lot of people, but not me, because I get caught on that whole, hey, I'm going to continue doing this. The story is cute. The artwork is cute. The level layout is really, really good. I mean, it's presented from a top down, like you're seeing the spacecraft from the very top. So, and you're going through a maze. But I've said my piece about it and what I think of it. I haven't said my ranking, but I want to hear you, Josh. What do you think about Kururin? And have you put any time into it? Do you like it?
Yeah, it's not one I've played a ton of, but I've tried it. I think it has a really unique concept that I can't really compare to anything else. You know, with trying to get through the little hallways and things like that with that spacecraft. So it does what it needs to do. I think really, really cool. I like the multiplayer in it. We tried it a little bit. That was pretty fun. So that was definitely a plus side to that game for me. I think one of my issues with it is it's not something that clicks with me immediately. Like it's not one of those kind of games that maybe it gets me addicted to it where I just can't put it down. It's not something I want to do for an hour at a time. You know, I could do it maybe like 15-minute burst or something, and then I'm kind of done, and then I'll just go back later. It's just, I think it just feels like it's almost like a slightly more in-depth like Mario Party minigame to me. Maybe that's not doing it.
You're right.
Justice,
you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I will say, when I played it originally, I played it on like a retro roulette night where I was doing like multiple games in one stream, or I was spinning a wheel and it randomly popped up, and I got to play it on there. But like, I'm with you. You're absolutely right. It's not one that I'm going to spend more than 30, 40 minutes on at a time. It is a pick up and play game. It's very different than like Golden Sun or even Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, right? Where, like, I'm not saying it's bad. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's bad, but I think it's one of those games where I'm not going to have the biggest time investment in it for long bursts. It's going to be very short bursts.
Yeah, I think it very much depends on the person on this one. For me, it's definitely not like an S.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to give some of these rankings, to be honest. And then I look back at I'm like, ooh, did I put F-Zero too high there?
Yes,
so
but
I don't know.
We'll get back.
I don't know. You've probably played this a little. You probably played this one a little bit more. What are you thinking with the ranking?
You know, I can't in good conscience. Like, when I evaluate it against the rest of what's here, I cannot in good conscience put this in S. Like, I can't. And I'm sorry, Virtua Cat, I can't put this in S.
I know.
But do I think it's better? Here's the question that I've got to ask myself. Do I think it's better than Kirby and the Amazing Mirror? And I would say yes. I think it's better than Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Do I think it's better than F-Zero Maximum Velocity? 100% yes. I actually liked this experience more than F-Zero.
I'm a little biased on that because I am an F-Zero fan. So that's a little, it's tricky.
Yeah, but then do I think it's better than Fire Emblem, the very first Fire Emblem? I mean, are we going substance over quality there in some ways? Because like Fire Emblem has a lot of substance, but do I think it's a better quality game than Kururin?
Oh man.
And that's that. Listen, it's so hard to like figure this out from that standpoint. Part of me wants to put it in a high B. Part of me wants to put it in a high B to an A.
I wouldn't be against it.
So, and I've really got to just evaluate it against Fire Emblem now, personally. Like, that's just where I'm at. So, do you want to put it above Fire Emblem and B?
Yep, put it there. I'd really think about it. Just do it.
I don't think people are going to be signing up for Nintendo Switch Online to play Kuru Kuru Kururin. So, you know, but
it's one of those I like to have it there as like a little app to click on every once in a while.
Like it's a fun time waster game. It's a very, very fun time waster game. And I definitely argue that anybody should put some time into it. It's not bad. It's a good game. Oh yeah, I forgot about the multiplayer. And I did multiplayer night on that game when it came to NSO too. Like I played multiplayer on that. But that's where I think it lands for me. It's like a very high B, low A. And I mean, I might even just bump that up to A after we reevaluate.
We'll see where we're at.
Yeah.
There's one coming up that everybody's going to hate me on. I absolutely know that. But
okay. Well,
I
now
like
I'm
one
worried.
that most people don't.
Now I'm worried. Next one on here, Super Mario Advance. Now, this doesn't have a subtitle like the rest of the games in that series. There are 4 of these games that came out. Yep. And they're different from their predecessors, right? Like these are reimaginings in some ways of the original games. I don't call them remakes because they're not quite that, and I don't want to call them remasters either because in some ways they downgraded by quite a lot. So I'm gonna call them reimaginings of their original releases. The Super Mario Advance series, and I'm actually going to move them all together instead of separating them. So that way we can kind of rank them back to back to back, because these are they're games you're very familiar with. They're games that I think all of us would argue on their respective original consoles are S tier games, right? On their respective original consoles. The real question is did they improve what they've got here? Right? So did they improve what they've got here? So we're going to start with Super Mario Advance, which is a redo, really a redo. This one is insanely different from the original release of Super Mario Bros. 2. And I'm going to let Josh kind of lead with this one. How do you feel about Super Mario Advance?
I loved having this when it first came out in my Game Boy Advance and all that. I remember getting it. I remember having the Nintendo Power Advance. There was only like 4 issues of that, but I really like what they added to this one. It's a lot like a lot of these are almost identical to the All Stars versions of the games. They're a little more squished, and there is some things still different, but they look a lot like those versions, not necessarily the NES versions. But no, I would put this one fairly high, just because it's one that I find myself going back to, be it this version or not. This one's probably my favorite version of this game because it does add some stuff to it.
Yep.
Including once you go through the game, you can go back through every level and you got to find 2 Yoshi eggs. It's not really something you have to do, but the only thing I found disappointing about it was I'd read somewhere online back in the day or wherever it was. Once you find all of them, you get to play as Yoshi, who has 5 stars across all their stats. So I was like, oh, heck yeah, my favorite character. I got to do this. And it ends up you just get a Yoshi on your title screen that dances.
Oh, thank you. Random 1990s, 2000s internet rumors. No,
Regardless, it's still a really good version of this game. I'm still a little sad about that, but
you have no one to blame but yourself for that sadness.
No.
But I'm with you. Like, this is, in a lot of ways, I would argue this is kind of the peak way to play this game. Like, they added enough stuff in there and kind of, and it's not different enough in the sense that, like, you're not getting the original experience. You are getting most of the original experience there. The game is very much reimagined. Even the starting area, you don't start off dropping from the sky in the starting portion of this game. Like, you start off on a platform coming through a door and you run down, you're avoiding these giant Shy Guys. And something they did really, really differently with all 4 of these games, there was a very popular peripheral at the time, and I say popular as if it sold really well. It did not, but everyone knew about it. It was the e-reader. And the e-reader had booster packs of cards you could buy. And in those booster packs of cards, you could unlock new levels. You could unlock new power-ups. You could unlock new items that you can use in these games. And this one had that feature where you could unlock, I'm pretty sure if I'm remembering correctly, just the giant... just the giant vegetables that you could end up pulling up more consistently, right? Or is that only
I don't
available
remember
in
e-reader having that.
Is that only available in Super Mario Advance 4? That I may be misconstruing Super Mario Advance 4 and Super Mario Advance. My apologies if I'm wrong. Someone fact check me. But the biggest thing here is that it is an all new, in some ways, a better experience compared to the original version of Super Mario Bros. 2. And I would argue Super Mario Bros. 2 is a very good game, even though it's kicked my butt the last month. I've failed at it twice. But I really like this game, and I like this version of it. And it would probably be one of the higher ranking ones out of the 4 that released at the time. So Super Mario Advance, where do you want to put it, Josh?
At least an A.
I'm with you. I think an A, absolutely. I don't think this is one that everybody should run out to check out. But I do really, really like this one.
This is very much like a personal list too, I would say, between the two of us. So there's going to be a little bit of bias, here and there, a little bit of our own personal experiences mixed in, our own nostalgia. So
that does bring us to Super Mario.
A little bit of trying to be fair.
Right. Korga in the live chat, Super Mario Bros. 3 is the e-reader one. I'm pretty sure that Super Mario World had e-reader too.
May have had something there too. I can't remember.
I can be wrong. I'm totally okay with being wrong. Either way, Super Mario Advance 4, I'll eventually get to that one. But let's talk about Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2. This game means a lot to you.
Yes, it does.
This game, maybe not this version of it, but this particular game, Super Mario World, means a lot to you. But here's what I will tell you in my opinions of Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2. I hate this version of it. I hate this version of it because they changed enough about it to make it awful. Like, it has these terrible, and I love Charles Martinet, but the voiceovers that are done in this are so bad and crunchy. The colors,
they do it in Advance 1 too, though. The voices.
They do. But they kind of go with it in some ways. And for some reason, they sound better in Advance 1 and in Advance 4 because they're not as consistent. Mario is extremely talkative in Super Mario World 2, Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2 compared to the other 4 titles. Right. Or the other 3 titles in this series. And I will tell you straight up, the colors get desaturated. The level layout is almost 1-for-1. There is not a whole lot of difference in this game compared to the Super Nintendo experience that you can get, other than you get the chance to play Mario Arcade, which is included in all of these, by the way. But I hate this version of it. I hate this version of it. And I would say, don't boot up the GBA Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2. Instead, go to the Super Nintendo Switch Online app and play it the way that it's meant to be played. And that's where I'm at with it. How do you feel, Josh?
I would probably still say the original is the better version. Just it's cleaner looking. It doesn't have the voices. I know this is seems like very petty things to complain about maybe, but it does feel better on there. Any multiplayer game, I would usually recommend a console version. I don't love multiplayer focused games on handhelds. That's not exactly what this is, but so I can kind of agree with you on that side of it, at least. I still think this is a really decent version of it, though. They add some things to it. I like the little cutscenes they've added at the beginning and the end of the game, and the beginning one even changes if you've beat it. I like the little menu they've added where it actually keeps track of all the dragon coins that you collect. Like, you have a reason to go back and collect them all instead of just an extra life. It tells you what exits you found with what character and things like that. So I really like those additions to it. There's even a little cutscene for when you get the special, or when you beat the special world. So I like little things like that. At the time, I loved having that game handheld. Now it's not so much as a novelty because I had it on my 3DS. I've got it on the original version. I've got it on my Switch. So there's not really that as much. I still like this version. if it was the original SNES one, I would say it's got to be on S. It's just
we ranked that one before, and I agree with you. We ranked that one when we did the Mario tier list of all the Mario games, and we both agree.
Yeah,
I think it's
one of my favorite games of all time. Now, this version of it, I mean, I'll take it on an A.
What? Oh my God, you are very different from what I was about to say. Okay, here's the deal. I am about to say something that is going to upset you, and I was going to say this belongs in eh. Everything it tries to do, here's the thing, everything it tries to do and add ruins the overall experience where it was already pristine and good in its prior version iteration release. Like this game, Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2, I don't know why, but it is a terrible experience compared to playing the original
I've
version.
ever heard that.
I
don't know.
I hate this one. So you're saying A.
Forward on this one. Oh, the next one's gonna go. That's not the next one. Never mind, go ahead.
And I'm saying eh. So we have to compromise in some ways. I guess you
can put it on B if you have to.
It has to be, and
I mean,
I'm
putting Mario World.
I'm gonna put it in low B. I'm putting it in low B because here's the dude. Listen. Do you think it fixed it? Do you think anything they added made the game better? Like legitimately better than the original?
It gives you a reason to go back for the coins. You get little cutscenes in between. You get this really pretty looking map. Like it's like at the beginning when it's loading up. So you get all that neat little stuff.
That doesn't make it better.
Wait. Luigi. You get to play as Luigi, and he actually feels different. He has his little Luigi jump. So
that's worse. I hate that. I hate Luigi's jump. It's the worst experience.
But it changes it up.
You're not arguing in better favor. This is my entire head has turned red because I am so like no. They
got one other one that I'm concerned about.
They blasphemed the name of Super Mario World in such a way that like okay. Super Nintendo in the live chat. Let me calm down here for a second. Super Nintendo in the live chat. How would you feel about the game if you can only play the GBA version and the SNES version isn't an option? Compared to the rest of the games that are on this list, I do think that this version of this game would land firmly here for me.
It's a little better.
Personally, I think I would play it more than Fire Emblem, and I know I'd play it more than Maximum Velocity, and I would definitely play it more than Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. But
it's getting messy.
It is hard to listen to. Like, I don't know if you've put headphones in listening to that game. The soundtrack, they butchered the soundtrack. The extra crunchy talk that goes on with Charles Martinet is so bad. The colors are so desaturated. I don't know. Like, it is not the most fair. But if this was the only version I could play, I'm comfortable putting it below Kuru Kuru Kuruden and above Fire Emblem, and that's where I'm comfortable doing it. But I wanted to put it in Like, that's how much I hate this version of this game. So can we compromise? I've gotten it really close to your A. It's one game away from A.
It's not bad. We'll leave it there for now. So maybe we can just get a move on. Let's just go. We'll see you later.
All right.
See you later.
Yoshi's Island. Super Mario Advance 3. Yoshi's Island. How do you feel about it?
This has kind of got a similar issue as World does. I still love it. But it does have some of those issues where, like, Yoshi's Island did some cool things on the Super Nintendo that stick out to me on here, where, like, the Super FX chip or whatever, where they had, like, these 3D looking things on the Super Nintendo, like, mixed in with the 2D.
Yep.
And it's still, I'm trying to remember, it's been a little while since I've played this entire version. But I don't think it really looks as cool here.
No.
Some of those effects aren't there. The colors are, again, kind of muted or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So some of that stinks. And again, this stuff was made for a Game Boy Advance. You know, it was made for a little screen. So it was great for what it was. It sticks out a little more when you play it on like a Switch on a big 55-inch or whatever you got. So especially if you have both versions. Other than that, I mean, I can't really complain a whole lot about this one. Maybe you feel a little bit differently. I feel like if I remember right, the special stages are a little easier to unlock,
They
things
are.
like that. Um, Now it did add the Yoshi voices instead of just like the sounds for whatever reason. Not that it's annoying.
But those sound
really.
fine.
Yeah, it's not as bad as like the lucky, that's what I needed.
Yep.
It's not as bad as that in the other games. So it's fine. I would probably put this version still at A.
Okay. So this one is
putting
one
it below an RPG for me feels wrong. Anyway,
here's where I'm at with it. Okay, so this one in particular, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3, you kind of highlighted a lot of my main complaints again. Like it's got that crunchy audio, but I think the Yoshi voice is fine. The Charles Martinet voice is gone. Okay, that's good because the Charles Martinet voice did not work with that GBA crunchy, like compressed sound chip that they had in there. My biggest complaint with this game is the camera is cropped super tight, and that game, they throw so much at you, it almost feels like a Kaizo game at that point compared to the original. And the original is still a very difficult game. Like, it's not like out of the litany and the entire library of Mario games, Yoshi's Island stands out as like, it's up there with like Lost Levels. Like, it's like not an easy game. It is an easier game.
It's fair. It's not Lost Levels.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
But it's a hard game, and it's a long game, and way longer than most of the Mario games, way longer than any of the 2D Mario titles, actually. To be able to speedrun it, like, it's still a 3.5 hour long speedrun. Like, it's a long game. But here's where I land with it. I was going to put this one in C. And I love Mario. Like, you guys know my love of Mario. I don't want that to be in debate. But this version of it, I was going to put in C. And that's because... Okay, what do you got to say?
It's going to spoil some of the rest of this list, though.
Oh, do you want to hold it?
Yeah, I'm just going to say... Never mind. Just go.
Okay.
Just go.
Okay, so you said you want to put this in A. I said I want to put it in C. So... B is where it's going to land if we average it out between us. That actually hits like the middle. Do you think, here's my question, based on our list we've got going here, do you think it's better than F-Zero Maximum Velocity?
Yes.
I agree. Do you think it's better than Fire Emblem?
Yes. For me, yes.
I'll agree with you. Do you think it's better than Super Mario World 2? Or Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2? My gosh, this naming convention.
That's where it gets kind of hairy. I'm gonna say, if it was me, I would easily put this on A, maybe even S, just because I'm not as familiar with the Golden Sun games. Okay. But I do kind of believe you have seen enough of those where I'll leave that alone. But yeah, I would put it probably at the top of B personally.
All the way above Kudo then.
That's just me.
I don't know that I would say it's better than Kudo.
Definitely not my list, though. This is our list.
This is our list. I would not say it's better than Kudo. But I will say that I think this version of Mario is better than Super Mario World, and this version of the GBA versions is better than the Super Mario World GBA version. Just from the simple.
I would still put this one on A.
Okay, I'm gonna compromise here. I'm gonna go to top of B. Okay, fine. I'll give you your A. I do have a soft spot for Yoshi's Island. I do think they added enough there that it's good. The colors honestly really aren't that bad. The crunchy audio really isn't that bad. The biggest complaint that I have for it is that it crops the camera in so hard that I legitimately cannot stand how evil the game can be.
If it wasn't for that, it would be up there in S. So.
Super Mario Bros. 3. Super Mario Advance 4.
Honestly, with this one and with the 2D Marios, like World is my absolute favorite, and 3's great, but I would still put it below that. I would say this one's probably the best of the Advance series, though.
Yes.
And I don't think there's a big question behind that, especially this version of it, and you'll probably talk some about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
This version, that's fair. I can handle that. The e-reader levels really add to this as well. They added what was it, like around 40 levels, maybe something like
it's
that.
It's a lot. Like it is a lot.
And they're not just like normal. Oh, okay, that was a nice little whatever level. Like these are completely different. Like there is. I don't want to I don't know. I probably won't spoil everything anyway because there's a lot of just random stuff that you just won't expect going into it, like
Mm-hmm.
stuff from other games.
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff from Mario Brothers 2 that pops up. There is stuff from World that's thrown in here, like enemies and I'll
You
say
get a
power ups.
cape.
Yeah,
Like,
you do.
I'll
You get
spoil
the
it
cable.
here. You
Yeah.
get a cape in Super Mario Bros. 3, which completely breaks some of the level, like in some ways. But the cape always has.
Yeah, it's fun. Like those are really good levels.
Mhm.
And again, you can go back through. I know it doesn't feel as good, but to change it up, give you a reason to do it again. You can go back through and play as Luigi as well, where he has his own, where he feels a little bit different and can kind of add a challenge to it. And there's also the coins to collect and all those as well. So it's almost got its own, own little game off to the side. That's sort of a remix of this stuff. That's really cool.
Absolutely. No, I love this version of this game. The base game experience is pretty much unchanged from the base game experience that you would have on any other version of this game, for the most part, except for the addition of Charles Martinet's voice being in here. And again, it's crunchy and it is distracting in some ways, but it's not as often as it happens in a lot of these other things, right? So it's not as often as it happens in Super Mario Advance. Yoshi's,
We left Charles Martinet.
Yeah. I prefer his version of Mario. I really do. And I love him and I want him to be able to be happy. But GBA was not the hardware for his voice. But then you get the addition of the e-reader levels and the surprise of that. It is an overall beautiful, glorious, expanded experience. Everything they did and I think they finally got it right after 4 games. I think they finally got it right. Everything they did added to the base experience of the game. It did not change the base experience of the game drastically. It did not make it worse. It added to it. And that's why I think it does deserve its spot in the S tier.
Fair enough.
Mario Kart Super Circuit, sir. So here's
I didn't want to do this one.
I'm gonna throw this one out there. Chat is I don't think chat is wrong. I don't think chat is wrong.
This is where chat's going to disagree with me.
In that Mario Kart Super Circuit, oh no. In that Mario Kart Super Circuit, okay, here's what I'm going to say. Let's judge it against its library of its own self. Super Nintendo Mario Kart. What would you give it as to What would you give original Super Mario Kart?
Oh gosh, it depends on what am I comparing it up against? Am I comparing it up against
We're comparing it against its library, yes.
Oh gosh, I don't know for letters. This would take me too long. I like it. It's definitely not at the top of the list. Other things just were better.
Okay,
I still
so
like
you're gonna
that
say
game,
you're gonna say that one's
nostalgia,
a B or an A?
something like that.
Okay,
B maybe.
Okay, Mario Kart 64.
Again, I'm gonna say A.
Oh, okay.
I know.
I'm surprised
I've
on
got
that
my
one.
nostalgia in there. It's not as good as Diddy Kong Racing, but
that's
it's
fair.
still good.
But we're not rating it against Diddy Kong Racing.
I know.
Okay.
Sorry for another time. Yeah.
Okay. Then you've got the Double Dash.
I'm gonna say A still, but below 64.
Okay. Then you've got, I'm trying to think of the ones that are not related to this one in any way. I'm skipping over this one. Then you've got Mario Kart Wii.
I'd still put it on A.
Okay.
I don't know where exactly. Maybe
And
above Double Dash.
You've got Mario Kart DS.
See, me and this one, people will not disagree. I wouldn't put this one super high. I'd put it on B.
Okay. And then you've got Mario Kart 7.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I can't do this quick.
You can do it. You've got it. You can do this. I believe in you.
B.
Okay.
And high B.
And then Mario Kart 8.
B.
And we'll just go to the top of the list there, Mario Kart 8 DX. I'm not going to compare Mario Kart 8 against it.
That one's the best.
Right? I think we both agree. And I don't disagree with your list. Now, looking at that library, would you say Mario Kart Super Circuit is better than any of those that you just ranked?
For me, I will say that I know this is probably just wrong. I personally have had more fun with this one than I have some of the others. The DS game being one of them.
Okay.
Minus the mission mode, which some of the missions weren't all that great. I like the idea, but the missions are just kind of weak. And it's ugly as crap. But no, Super Circuit, I love just how simple it is. It's kind of like the original. And it just has that kind of a simple arcadey kind of racing feel to it. and I personally like sort of how it looks for what it is. I love that it has the entire SNES tracks, or list of tracks on it that you can unlock. They're a little bit different, but they're there. It's just more and more content. Um, it's just got the 64 cast on it, so it's simple. It is what it is. I've always just really liked this one. I don't know exactly what it is or why I consistently seem to go back to this one from time to time, be it on the GBA, on the 3DS version I had, or shoot, I've had it on Wii U and the Switch. I just like going back and playing this one just for something to go back, simple, and play through. Yeah, that's about all I got to
This
say.
one's a frustrating experience for me. I will say that much. The completion experience is frustrating. The way that quote unquote mode 7 works on the GBA is frustrating. And I do want to make a note for your Mario Kart DS experience. The thing is the reason I rank that game so highly as I do is one person, and that's all it needed. One person needed the cart, and everybody could play with them. Like it was insane. Like it was the
do that on Super Circuit.
Perfect party game.
Everybody would be Yoshi, which is fine.
Yeah, but it's not the same. But here's where I land with it. Mario Kart Super Circuit, I think, is a much inferior experience, and I would also give Super Mario Kart a really low ranking too, just because of the way that it is a difficult racer from the way that the camera system works in that game. Simulated mode 7 or mode 7, it's not an enjoyable racing experience.
The computer kind of are really not balanced in that one with the constant items.
There's a lot
on the
of rubber banding. It is not one of those. And I forgot. Super Nintendo brings up Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. Would you say? Would you say it's better than Home Circuit? Have you played that?
Somehow I don't own that one. I love Mario Kart.
I need you to come over. I've got both the Luigi and the Mario one.
I played it at a family member's house. I really want to own it. I do. I don't have the space for it, but I played it at Marshall. Whenever I was up there for the book a couple weeks ago, somebody had set up like a whole track there. It was really cool.
That's cool.
I don't know. It just feels too different, but it's fun. And in the arcade ones, that's a whole other story. Those are pretty fun. Anyway,
but
way off the rails here.
This is one of those that would land in the eh category for me, and I know it's not going to land in the full eh category for anybody for the actual list because we're sharing the list and we're averaging out. And do not tell me S just to try to get it back up to B.
Should.
But where do you believe Mario Kart Super Circuit belongs for you, sir?
Oh gosh, I would put it at a solid B myself.
Okay. Would you rather play this? Oh, and I think Netist in the live chat asked this earlier. Would you rather play this or Kirby and the Amazing Mirror?
This Super Circuit.
Okay.
I would rather play everything on the B tier. Or I'm sorry, I would rather play this over everything in the B tier.
Okay. Well, listen, here's the thing. Chat is absolutely saying, get out of here. I have no confidence in this show anymore. Like, I'm with you. Like, here's the
Drum Master. Sorry, I was reading.
No, you're good. I cannot rank this one any higher than C. It would absolutely go in the A category for me, but that's my take. And someday maybe we'll just start putting out reviews for the actual NSO games separately, and then just let people read what our takes are. But as we're doing this together, this is going to land in C for some ungodly reason. But
you're gonna put it below F-Zero?
Oh yeah, for now. Well, you got to reevaluate later. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. I love this game. It artistically is very different and inventive. Yeah, it's not Paper Mario, and yeah, it's not Super Mario RPG, but it is engaging as it absolutely, like, this game defined. I mean, here's the thing. This has been the turn-based experience that I've wanted for a very long time from a lot of JRPGs, but it's slammed into a Mario game, which is absolutely like over the moon for. Like, I love Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. And you get this weird cast of characters. It was one of the last times, this series was one of the last times they experimented with Mario in an RPG by giving him a varied cast of characters. They did it all the way up through Bowser's Inside Story. Like, it is good. It's a good game, and it's a good series, but specifically this one stands out for me as the best in the series and as one of the best RPGs on the system. And I would say this is an S tier game.
That's fair. For me, I'd have to put it on at least A or A at the very lowest. I enjoyed this more than Golden Sun myself.
Okay.
Of course, I enjoyed the Mario Advance 4, 3, whatever the name of that one is, more than Golden Sun.
I'll shift some things around.
Yeah, but that's I think it belongs there, honestly, and it's probably the best out of that series. I've never got to play the remake.
The remake's good. They did a lot to update the lighting engine and everything, but I think it loses a little bit of its quirkiness because they tried to de-esify it in a lot of ways. But the gameplay itself is good. You've got your menu down on your bottom screen almost the entire time, so you can see your briefcase and all your items and everything. It's just one of those games that I think Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga looked best on the original GBA, and
I get that. The art style and stuff, I think, really fit it well.
Yep.
I would have liked to see it on a console, remade.
Yeah, I would be interested in that.
Handheld.
I would be interested in that, but I like the pixel art for this.
Great game. I think it does what it needs to do, and it's from an RPG standpoint. But then it's so unique with controlling both Mario and Luigi, even out in the field. Trying to get up on platforms different ways and all the different moves you can learn. The way the combat works, it's just enough to not be too complicated. I think, and the story's great. The characters are wonderful in it. I love how like Bowser and everybody's portrayed. So yeah, there's really not much to complain about with this one.
I'm with you. Metroid Fusion. I'm gonna let you kind of take the lead on this one.
Okay. I would probably put this at an A. The lowest A. An A.
Oh my god. What are you doing? Why are you doing this to us? We're losing subscribers and viewers at the moment. Yes.
Hold on. But I would not be against this going higher. Just because with playing all the Metroid games, this one's one of the lower end ones for me with the 2D ones. Just where it's so linear.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer Zero Mission over this. Super Metroid, something I'm forgetting. Oh, Dread, myself. So, but in this box, I wouldn't be against it being up in S.
Okay, so I agree with you on one statement you said there, on one statement that you said there, and I like Zero Mission better than Fusion. I also like Zero Mission better than Fusion.
Samus Returns, whatever the 3DS one is,
Samus Return of Samus Returns. It's all the same. Tomato. But I think Metroid Fusion deserves its place in S. I will tell you, I would have if I were making this list on my own. If I were making this list on my own, it would have been even above Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Advance 4 for me. It is a system seller in terms of how good that game is and the experience that you get and the map that you're going through and the difficulty that slowly rises. It is a puzzle game. It is a platformer. It is a shooter. It's a beat 'em up. It's a sci-fi action adventure game that empowers you and makes you feel smart for actually playing the game. Like, that game makes me feel ways that Mario has never made me feel, in the sense that, like, I feel like a god gamer when I am playing that game and everything is clicking. And that's where I'm at with it, is I would have put it at the very, very top of the list of S. But you're saying A.
I'll give it an S.
Okay.
So you make a good argument.
So you're saying
S. I give it up there an S.
Now, would you say, when you say S, are you saying above Golden Sun? I think you would.
For me, I would, just because I haven't gotten into Golden Sun as much as I probably should.
Okay. Would you say it's above Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga?
I don't know.
Okay. I am fine.
It's hard for me for me, I'm seeing this as wherever I put Fusion, not every other, a lot of other 2D Metroid games are above that. And as much as I do love those games, I wouldn't, I wouldn't put them all like the top of the S tier of every list.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay.
They're solid. I don't know. It's hard for me to picture them above like every Mario game. Maybe that's just what is stuck in my head here.
That's fair. We're rating the library against itself. Okay, so Minish Cap. How do you feel?
I'd put it at the highest of the A on here.
Okay.
I'm making a lot of people mad. That's the
Okay.
highest.
You're scaring me because I don't know that I agree with you. I'm gonna put it there for a second, but I want to hear you out. Let's hear him out.
I don't think that's bad. See, I just don't think it's as exceptional as some of these other ones. Like, I think it's a great game. I prefer like Link's Awakening and some of the other not. I wouldn't say the Oracle games so much, but for me, I think certain things. What's the word for it? Got a little obscure, just kind of like the Kinstones. That's what they're called. I think it was a really cool idea. I love that they're there, but I just don't.
Super
like they paid
Nintendo
off as much
in
as
the
they
live
could have.
chat says, "Look how close F-Zero is to Zelda. Knock it off."
Okay, that's fair. That's where it gets kind of hairy. Is that maximum velocity right there?
Look how close
you would like-
Kururin is to Minish Cap.
That game, I would not put a B. Okay, that one's not on me.
We compromised. We compromised. I said A, you said C. We put it B.
Anyway,
Oh man. No, okay. So
that's just my feeling on it. It just doesn't
Minish
stick out
Cap.
to me as much as some other 2D Zeldas do. It doesn't reach that S tier for me. Like, I'm trying to think of the stupid name of it. The one that's a Link to the Past sequel on the 3DS. Link Between Worlds. For me, that one was like a super special 2D one. The Link's Awakening remake on Switch would reach S for me for a Zelda 2D game. In the vast Zelda library, this one just kind of hits at a good A. It's very good.
Let me ask you, would you rather play Golden Sun or Minish Cap?
For me, it would be Minish Cap, just because I'm more of a Zelda fan than an RPG fan. But again,
Okay.
that's fine. That's
Okay,
fine.
because here's the thing. I will say that Minish Cap is my very favorite Zelda game ever. It's my favorite one.
Okay.
And maybe you could say that I'm looking at it through rose-colored glasses. It was the very first one I ever actually completed. I got that game for my GBA SP, and I spent a lot of time in that game. And the art style, the writing, and yeah, it's very Wind Waker-esque. But the art style and the writing is just absolutely amazing. I think Capcom, not being Nintendo, did an amazing thing, taking a franchise that is very revered and doing something different enough, but not blaspheming the genre as a whole or the title as a whole. They did something really, really cool with the size mechanics, going into the Pickery Forest, and then you get small, and then you get on tree stumps, you get small, you get big again, and having very cool, intense battles, some good puzzles. Overall, like the Zelda Minish Cap experience that I had defined for me what Zelda 2D games should be from then on. And I'll agree with you. I think the Link Between Worlds is really, really good surprise experience. A Link to the Past, of course, kind of defined what Minish Cap should be by giving it that structure and that look. But I think Minish Cap delivered in a way that I don't think any other 2D Zelda game has ever delivered for me. And that's just where I'm at with it. And I'm fine putting it below Metroid Fusion, and I'm fine putting it above Golden Sun. 1000%, I'm okay with that placement. It's definitely better than Super Mario Advance and Yoshi's Island for the Game Boy. So that's
The advanced, yeah.
Yep. We got our final game here. Our final game,
right.
and then we reevaluate. One real quick
This is another
reevaluation.
one. This is another one I actually really like going back to just randomly from time to time on the Game Boy Advance. There is, I know a lot of people don't like this for whatever reason, but I still wouldn't put it on an S. I'd put it on an A.
Okay.
I think that's a great ranking. That's just me. The biggest reason I wouldn't put it in an S for myself is just its length, because it is super short.
It is. It absolutely is. You know how I played this game and beat it for the first time? It was on a Game Boy Micro. And I thought it was fitting because it was Mega Micro Games. Like it was just
pretty good.
It was absolutely the way I wanted to play it. But I'm with you. It's a time waster game. It is a time waster game. It is not. There's not a whole lot of substance there. There's not a whole lot of meat on the bones. It's good for me to put, like, when I pulled it out of my freaking, like, out of my Game Boy Micro and just pulled it out of my pocket and would just play for a few minutes. Like, that was enough for me. Like, I was done. I was good. I wasn't going to spend hours in that game, and I think it's a fine game. I would almost argue that it's better than Kururin, and I would definitely say that it's better than Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 2, but that's just my take.
You hate that game.
So I think Super WarioWare Incorporated Mega Micro Games is okay. It's okay.
Did you put it on B?
We said it was above Kururin, right?
I put it on A. But that's just me.
You think it's better than Super Mario Advance and Yoshi's Island?
I mean, have it up there with them, you know.
Oh,
somewhere.
Man. Oh, man.
That WarioWare deserves that.
Does it? Does it deserve an A? Does it deserve an A? Is it better than Fire Emblem?
These are way different games.
They are, but is it better than Fire Emblem? Are you going to spend more time with this game?
Yes. But
okay,
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay. We'll put it in A, bottom of A, teetering toward a B. I'll put it there. Okay, so we need to take one quick second and reevaluate this list. Okay. I think there's one game we all know should be moved.
Super Circuit's way too low.
No, not that game.
That's my opinion. Anyway, go ahead.
F-Zero Maximum Velocity needs to be moved. And we said B. Well, more specifically, you said B. I don't have the experience with it to know, but I think, based on chat reaction to your take, I think is where it lands.
Wait, no, it's not a bad game.
Oh man, do you think it's better than Super Circuit?
That's tricky.
The answer is no. It's not tricky.
I would live with it being like somewhere in C.
No, we gotta have something in it. Something in it. Like, does that game get you excited?
I was excited to go back into it and give it a go. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you're like, after playing it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
I'd rather play a different F-Zero maybe, but
okay. Super Mario Bros. 3, do we agree?
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi Superstar, do we agree?
Cool with that.
Metroid Fusion, do we agree?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I can deal with it.
Minish Cap, we just debated. But I think we both think it is better than Golden Sun. We both think it's better than Golden Sun, right?
Personally.
Okay. And I think because of my experience with Golden Sun, and also your experience too, you've enjoyed it. It is a beautiful game. It's well written, got good mechanics.
I can see why you would put it at an S at least. Not an S for me, but I can see that.
I got you. Super Mario Advance, A.
What's that?
Yoshi's Island, A.
Good.
WarioWare Incorporated, A.
Yes.
Okay, I'll leave it. Kururin.
For me, I would put that lower, but
how low?
I think it's probably just not my type of game as much as it is some other people. So that's fine.
Okay, so we can bump it to bottom of B. I'm okay with Mario World 2 going up. Fire Emblem.
I'm kind of like whatever on that one, but it was pretty good for what it is.
I think kind of looking at this list, I think this Fire Emblem needs to go down to C. And
I'm okay with that too.
I think it needs to go down to C.
We're kind of ahead of something. There we go.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. I think Super Circuit can go up there. I can spend some more time with Super Circuit than Fire Emblem, looking at it as a whole now. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, bottom of C. Are we in agreement?
That's fine. I don't feel like I've been really fair to that one, but that's whatever.
All right, that's your definitive list, and that is your ranking for the GBA Nintendo Switch Online titles. coming directly to your ears and eyes here on twitch.tv/Nintendo Rewind. Please don't add us. That being said, Josh, we're going to go into extra Nintendo news, and we're just going to kind of run through this fairly quickly. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's fine because I'm sleepy.
Yep, here we go. All right. See you after the jump. All right, Princess Peach Showtime. It was at the top of the sales charts for the Famitsu sales the very first week that it launched. I wanted to highlight this because Dragon's Dogma 2, released by Capcom, which has been talked about intensively on the internet, sold 10,000 less units than Princess Peach Showtime did. That does go to show, hey, game was good. Go check it out. Nintendo of America restructuring testing department. Over 100 contractor jobs reportedly eliminated. Here's the thing. Everybody wants to be like, oh no, everybody's being hit by massive layoffs. It's just like the Sony. It's just like the Xbox layoff. It's not. These were contractors that were working for a company underneath Nintendo, and they no longer needed them. So that being said, they got involuntarily retired, but it is one of those cost-cutting measures that the rest of the gaming industry has been facing, but these were not quote-unquote Nintendo of America true employees. It was just they were there contracting for a job and were no longer needed for the contracting of this job. So don't everybody go panic mode for Nintendo. They're still doing very financially well. Not that anyone's out there panic moding for Nintendo, I don't think. I think everybody has the good perception that they're doing financially well. Suspect behind Nintendo Live Tokyo 2024 threats arrested. We talked about this weeks ago about the Mario Kart tournament and the Splatoon World Championships going on there. And then on top of that, they had the two concerts that were released for free, the Legend of Zelda Orchestra and the Splatoon 3 deep cut live performance that they had going on. They ended up changing that plan, obviously, because there was an individual who was making threats to employees as well as participants ahead of the Koshien 2023 finals, and they canceled it as a precautionary measure. The man has been arrested. He's not been named. He's the suspect. He was in his 20s and is a local civil servant for the Ibaraki Prefecture. So, good news? Kind of, as long as it's the right person, but I'm glad that they caught the person who was making a lot of threats. Hopefully, fingers crossed it's the right person. They could just say whatever they want. Who knows? I don't know, but fingers crossed, no more threats. Endless Ocean Luminous. I'm not going to do much with this trailer thingy that they have here, and sound is not coming on, but Endless Ocean Luminous, Nintendo released a really weird ASMR trailer thingy for it. That is like ASMR where you can listen to the ocean, and I think Nintendo doesn't have any idea what to do with this game other than put it out there for the people. So if you're a fan of fishies, go check out this trailer. You can listen to the sounds of the ocean for 4 minutes. How do you feel about that, Josh?
I don't know. I mean, does it just look okay to me? Like,
it just looks okay.
Underwater games.
Yeah, it just looks okay. It looks like you did go into the ocean and opened your eyes, and that's what you're actually seeing because the salt is burning your retinas. I don't know. It is what it is. Like, I want to be excited about this game. Oh man, it's real hard to get excited about this game right now because it just does not look the way that it should with what they're trying to accomplish with it. Also, there was Universal Studios released some footage of the Donkey Kong Country park expansion at Universal Studios Japan. This one is the one that is also coming to America, and the Florida location will be opening up next year. But you can kind of see there's 10 minutes of footage from them testing the ride. You can see a lot of the scenes. That barrel looks really awesome. The mountain from the movie looks amazing with the Cranky Kong like opening mouth and shooting out smoke. It looks cool. One thing that is going to be different for the Florida one versus this one in Japan, there will be an actual waterfall pouring out of that instead of smoke for the Florida location. They had to do not water in the Japan location because of size constraints. So they went with smoke to simulate a waterfall. I don't think it accomplishes as much as what it could, but the whole park area looks really, really cool. I like the scenery. Seeing the minecart kind of go by is super neat. I wish there was a better view, but this is kind of like the constant view that we keep seeing from these videos that get released. So I don't know. Very cool. Go check that out. Mm-hmm. And then the final piece of news. No, I've got two more pieces of news here. Final piece of news that doesn't concern one in memoriam is Trimming the Herbs has been beaten. This was brought to my attention by user Calamity Nolan in the live chat. Trimming the Herbs, the final task-related level for Super Mario Maker, was beaten by user Sanix91. And they had taken it down earlier that day on the 5th of April, which is absolute insanity. Big salutes to Sanix. I'm sure they're very proud of the accomplishment, because that was a tool-assisted speedrun uploaded level, and a human did it. A human beat it, and it was just in time for our final piece of news here, which is the 3DS and Wii U online servers went down as of yesterday for us here in America. Nintendo customer service in Japan tweeted out in a very simple fashion, online play service for Nintendo 3DS and Wii U software ended at 9 a.m. today, Tuesday, April 9th, which for Japan, that was Tuesday, April 9th. For us, it was April 8th. Thank you very much for your long-term patronage. I am going to miss it. Did you get any time? Well, actually, I know you did. You got a little bit of time in on the service right there before it was done.
I did. I went back into Splatoon 1 more time, and I got back on with my friend Zach, where he pops up on here sometimes, Pro Zach. And we played a few matches there. Actually did pretty well. I won more matches there than I have been in 3. 3's been brutal lately. But it was really fun to go back and at least go try it out. There's some things I miss about that version of it, honestly. But as for the rest, there was a lot of games that I feel like they've just done better versions of on Switch. Splatoon sort of too, but that was the one that came to mind. But I was glad to go back on there. The most important thing to me was the Mario Maker stages that I made, because I had 68 of them uploaded on the Wii U. And so I really wanted to try to get those out there. And I hope some people were able to play them or download them if they cared. And so I hate to see all that go down. I did pretty well in there. Still have a Mario Maker 2 stages up there, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, I haven't played it in a while, but it does kind of stink that this has to happen. Yep. So
I understand.
I wish they were still up.
One of the lowest selling consoles of all time, and then one of the highest selling consoles of all time, but have become outdated. Yeah. And they no longer need to pay for the servers.
3DS went up a little bit longer.
Yep, it would have been nice, right?
I don't know.
But that is it for extra Nintendo news. We're going to go over to the new release segment here and talk a little bit about what's coming. And also a little bit about what's came, because Freedom Planet 2, we didn't get to do an episode last week. Freedom Planet 2 did hit this past week. It came out on April the 4th. It's available for $22.49 currently. It's on sale 10% off. Sale ends on the 11th. It looks awesome. I mean, it's like Sonic the Hedgehog meets, Mega Man in some ways. Like, it kind of gives me a little bit of like Mega Man-ish vibes.
First game was good. This one looks even better. Hopefully the voice acting's better. No offense to the people who work on this, by the way. It's great, but I'll just be nice.
It's a pretty game. It is a pretty game, and I like the differences in the characters and the way that they control and play. If you've played the first one, I think it's a very good game. I think this one definitely improves on it in a lot of ways. From kind of the way the gameplay actually works. It's insanity. But heavily recommend going and checking it out. Mrs. Nerdwire in the live chat saying Power Rangers vibes. I get a little bit of Arrow the Acrobat meets Sonic the Hedgehog at the same time with some Mega Man thrown in because of all the future tech that's going on here. But go check it out. This is Freedom Planet 2, available for direct download right now and at a cheaper price. Then we've got Botany Manor. Now, Botany Manor, it's a little bit of a different experience game. Like, it's like The Witness, but set inside of this manor. It kind of gives me The Witness vibes. If you've ever played that puzzle game, The Witness was kind of the first thing that took 3D puzzles and blew up. I think it was the first time a 3D puzzler really blew up and became like a cult classic in quite the same way as many other games have. But it's interesting, and it's all plant themed and it's all manor themed, thus Botany Manor, which there's the title. But it is available not now. It was supposed to be available today, April 9th, 2024, which is at time of recording today. But they didn't have, and it's still not there for sale. So keep your eyes on the eShop if you're wanting it. This is Mist Erasure. I would agree with you, Calamity Nolan. It is Mist Erasure. But Botany Manor, who knows how much it'll be and when it'll be available? Just check your local eShop. And
it's
then,
a mystery.
Yeah, it is
it's an
a puzzle.
age verification.
It's a puzzle in and of itself. And then I've got to put in my birthday. Everyone wish me happy birthday on my birthday. Slave Zero X. My gosh, this game looks insane from the screenshots. It is out April the 11th for $24.99. This kind of gives me like blasphemous Dark Souls, like absolute crazy chaotic mech, like future hard game vibes. And it looks very pretty. And it's kind of like this mix of 2D, 3D, because the backgrounds are all animated. So all a very like Donkey Kong, but you have this like sprite look to it, meeting like PS1 level retro graphics. This game looks cool. And I heavily recommend anybody that is a fan of that like experience of ultra hard game. Check this one out. If you're a big fan of Mega Man, if you're a big fan of this, that design is absolutely raw. Like it is amazing. I'm excited for this game. It's $24.99. Go check it out. Hack and slash your way through a dystopian future to kill a man-made god. So that is the description there. Moonglow Bay, totally different experience for us. This is not Slave Zero X. This is like Dredge but cute and not in the horror genre. But you play as a rookie fisher person who goes out and tries to take on these jobs to try to bring back the proper amount. It is co-op, so you can play with up to 4 players. It's got this cutesy little vibe. You've got this whole Pokedex-esque Fishlopedia that you can use. This game looks cute. And I do really, really want to play this game because I loved Dredge. And this is something similar and in that vein, but cutesy. And I don't have to fear for my life the entire time. And then that is at $18.74 right now on sale. Sale ends on the 11th. Normally $24.99 available for pre-order. And that launches on the 11th as well. And then the final game I'm going to tell you guys about. It's only one player. Drop in, drop out local co-op. What do you mean? Teaming up with a friend and drop in, drop out local co-op, Super Nintendo? Is it only going to be one player for real? They've got it wrong on the listing, but I want to do it with my friend. So, and then the final thing here, Crypt Trio. I don't know how to feel about this one. It is kind of a strange, like, Crypt of the Necrodancer aesthetic, but it is like Tetris, but with monsters and Puyo Puyo kind of mix. I think this is going to be one that is going to be up Josh's alley a little bit from that standpoint, because you are a Puyo Puyo guy, and it's only $5. I mean, it's $4.99 on the eShop. So, but you defeat monsters by connecting the right monsters all together, but you've also got to kind of manage your real estate where you're putting down the blocks, so that way you don't end up Tetrising out of the game. But it looks interesting. It is random every single time, so very much like Tetris. Go check it out. $5. That one launches on the 12th. Oh man, that was a speed run for extra Nintendo news and new titles that are coming out, and we are at an hour and 52 minutes on this episode, dude. So
yeah, it's almost tomorrow. I'm very concerned about setting up my desk tomorrow.
Let's do this. We're gonna take you guys over to Histowii right after this. All right, my good sir, welcome. You don't need to be yawning. Welcome to the part of the show that we call Histowii. It is the, in this segment, Josh, my co-host, must try to guess a game that was released this past week, but not this past week, years ago, based on a trivia, a screenshot, and a random sound effect or song. Josh, as my resident nostalgia nerd, do you feel like you have what it takes to add another point to this Josh Points board?
It seems like I do from the past episodes, I would say.
I think you do. I have fooled you a couple of good times. But I think I might get you again this week. I'm optimistic. I think I might get you again this week. So far, I've only gotten 3 Cody points that you don't get to see on the board. How many points did you say you need to get to be able to buy an NES game on the Wii shop?
490.
490 more episodes.
One step at a time.
Here we go. All right, guys. Audience, I'll ask, if you're watching live, please put your guesses in the live chat. Josh is forbidden from looking at it. If he does, he has to go stare at the sun during the eclipse and burn his retinas out. But if you're watching...
It can't work.
If you're watching on YouTube, my gosh. If you're watching on YouTube... Put your guesses in the comments, and then if you get it, we'll heart your comment, and you get to feel good about being right what game it was. But if you cheat, I'll come to your house and send the Nintendo Ninjas there. Without any further ado, Joshua, your first clue on the board. April 8th, 2003 for North American audiences.
Oh, gosh.
Featured a popular anime character repairing a dictionary.
Yeah, you have 4 Cody points now.
No, I think
I read featured a popular anime character. Well, I'm out.
I think you might get this. This. Who knows?
A dictionary, all right.
Who knows? You might get this. You never know. All right.
It's original, at least. I mean, I'll give it that.
It is very original. That being said, Josh, I'm going to ask you to describe for the people what your second clue is. I'm going to reveal it, but for our audio listeners, I'm sending you the clue now, and I'm revealing it to the live chat. What do you see on here?
Oh, all right. I'm going to say this. I'm not going to say what I think it is. I might know the IP.
Okay.
I don't know the title of the video game, though, unless it's just the, Good.
What do you see? Tell the people. Tell the audio listeners. What are you looking at?
I see daisies. Or, I'm sorry, sunflowers.
I see fields of green. Red roses, too.
I see a bridge, some mountains, and it's pretty basic stuff. It's very, very GBA-like.
Okay. Are you ready for your next clue?
Yeah. I don't think this one's going to help, but yeah.
Your final clue is coming to you momentarily. Let me mute our theme song going on here so that way I can play it for the people at home, too. I'm going to mute our theme song. I'm going to send you this, and I'm going to play the sound on screen now.
Where's the da-na-na-na?
All right.
Not what I was expecting to hear, but it's not Zelda.
So those, it could be Zelda. Who knows? You never know. You never know.
Okay. So there's no way in heck if there's like a subtitle that I'm going to get that. But I don't know why this is even in my memory whatsoever. But I remember this IP existing. And I'm going to say Hamtaro.
All right. We are going to go to the Grand Weeville right now.
Look at him.
And you are kind of spot on. You're kind of spot on. This is Hamtaro. This is a Hamtaro game. This is Hamtaro Ham Heartbreak. Just to give you a little bit of information about it, because I took some time to look this one up. It is a fan favorite of one of my best friends in the world that I don't really get to talk to as much anymore. Her name's Mila. Shout out to Mila. But she loved Ham Heartbreak. And Ham Heartbreak is a video game in the Hamtaro game series for Game Boy Advance, developed by Pax Softnica. Published by Nintendo, it is a sequel to Totoku Hamataro Tomodachi Daisukundechi and Hamtaro Ham Unite. It was the second Hamtaro game released in North America and Europe, but the third released in Japan. Like its predecessors, it is an adventure game, but the storyline, the gameplay rather, the goals in this game is Hamtaro, Ham Heartbreak, are to defeat Spat once and for all and repair the destroyed relations. There is a third quest that supports those two, and it is to obtain all the ham chats. Ham chats are words, but also much more than that. At the start of the game, Hamtaro accidentally causes almost all the ham chats in his ham dictionary to vanish, starting the hunt to fill the dictionary.
I think I'm starting to lose it. It's almost midnight on a Tuesday, and I'm sitting here listening to you describe to me what Hamtaro is.
Hamtaro! I don't know why this is still playing. Get this bumper out of our face. Hamtaro is a hamster who is anime, and it's also Eric Ladd's favorite game. But
Interesting.
Josh,
Maybe I missed out.
I'm tell you what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you a 0.5 on that
0.5. That's gonna be really annoying. But we'll just stick with it.
Until you get the main title.
There's no way.
No, until you get the main title and not the subtitle again, it will be 0.5 forever.
I do feel like I deserve that 0.5 though, just for remembering that Hamtaro.
You do. I'm surprised you knew an anime. Like, I'm just very surprised. Congratulations.
Commercials and stuff. You couldn't avoid it, you know.
I do want to congratulate.
Sonic X. I watch an anime.
I do want to congratulate Calamity Nolan in the live chat, who guessed it almost immediately. Who also guessed, before his guess immediately, Hatsune Mikachu. Oh, man. Anyway, Josh, take us out of here.
Hey, see ya.
Oh, hold on now. We got a script to follow.
Oh, so that wraps things up for this episode. And that means we're going to go with Cody. Where can they find you?
Oh, Nerdwire Plays everywhere. Mostly on Twitch. I did say at the top of the show.
Oh, just Nerdwire Plays.
Yeah, it's Nerdwire Plays everywhere. If you search that name on any social platform, for the most part, you can find me there. But this Friday, I've got a co-op event that I'm going to be doing with my friend Team Wildwood. We're going to be playing through it now. Granted, I got to start on it on my stream, but we're going to be starting it over because we're doing a co-op playthrough of Marvel Ultimate Alliance for the PlayStation 2 together. It's going to be really good. We're hoping to get some more people involved after this first test stream, but it's going to be really, really cool, something different. Please go check out Team Wildwood in the live chat just as well, and don't forget to come back and see me on my main channel. There's my link tree for all the social media stuff that you can find me at link.ee/nerdwireplays. And what about you, Josh? Where can they find you?
Somewhat of the same story for me. Pretty much anywhere Whopper744 on Twitter/X, whatever it's called. It is at Whopper744 Games. For whatever reason, that's probably the one I'm still the most active on with my gaming stuff for now. So I'm also, of course, on whatever the name is, Threads and Instagram. And wanted to shout out again, like I have been, our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Nintendo Rewind. Would really like to see some of that pick up. I think there's some potential there. So yeah. Other than that, of course, you can catch all of our episodes in video form at YouTube at youtube.com/the Nintendo Rewind right now. Audio forms on Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube Podcast. Again, you can visit our own social media pages on Threads and Twitter/X at Nintendo Rewind. Thank you all for watching, and remember that you can catch us live here every week, Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Nintendo Rewind.
Thank you, Josh. Thanks everybody for being here live.
My pleasure.
And oh my gosh. And we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.